Hey there, legal eagles and lawbreakers, welcome to the channel. You know, most of the time, laws make sense, like don't steal my tequila, that's a good law. But then, there are some laws out there. Laws that make you wonder if the people who wrote them were, let's just say, sampling the local produce a little too liberally. We're talking about laws so strange, so unbelievable, you'll be checking your calendars to make sure it's not April Fool's Day. So buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through the wacky world of legislation gone rogue. Get ready to have your minds blown wider than a Kardashian at a discount store. Trust me, you won't believe these laws are real. And away we go. First up, we're heading down south to Montgomery, Alabama, a lovely place with a not-so-lovely relationship with chewing gum. That's right, folks. In Montgomery, chewing gum is basically public enemy number one. You'd think they were dealing with plutonium, not peppermint. But nope, since 1935, it's been illegal to chew gum on their city streets. Imagine being a teenager in Montgomery. It's like living in a black and white movie. Now, I'm not sure what sparked this chewing gum crackdown. Maybe some rogue gum chewer stuck a wad on the mayor's shoe. Maybe a whole flock of pigeons got stuck to the sidewalk. We may never know the true reason behind this sticky situation, but one thing's for sure, Montgomery takes its gum-free streets very, very seriously. Now you might be thinking, Jimmy, surely this law is just collecting dust in some ancient law book somewhere, right? Well, my friend, you'd be wrong. This law is alive and well, just like your Aunt Carol after a few margaritas. It's still on the books, and technically, you could get slapped with a fine for popping a breath mint on the streets of Montgomery. I'm not kidding. Though let's be real, the odds of getting busted for chewing gum in Montgomery are about as high as me winning an Oscar for Best Actress. It's more of a funny little quirk, a relic of a bygone era like bell-bottoms and rotary phones. But hey, it makes for a good story, right? And it gives us all a little glimpse into the sometimes bizarre world of local laws. Before we dive deeper into these quirky laws, my friends, if you could hit that like button and subscribe to our channel, it would be immensely appreciated. It really helps a young channel like ours grow and continue bringing you more fun content. Now what's up with Montgomery, Alabama? Another mind-blowing law. We're putting the pedal to the metal and driving where your facial hair could land you in hot water. We're talking about a law so specific, so oddly targeted, it could only be dreamed up in a parallel universe where everyone looks like a 1970s rock star. I mean, come on, a goatee? What could be more dangerous behind the wheel? It's not like it's blocking your vision or anything, unless of course you're one of those guys who lets it grow down to his knees. Alright folks, buckle up for this one. It turns out that in Vernal, Utah, you can't just stroll down Main Street with your pet elephant. Can you imagine writing that law? Alright, Bob, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room, literally. I mean, who knew elephants were such rebels, right? Were they clogging up traffic? Holding up the line at Starbucks? We need answers, people. This image might just be the reason this law exists. Look at this guy, just chilling in the middle of the road like he owns the place. And the poor Model T driver, he's probably thinking, didn't see this in the driver's ed manual. These laws might sound crazy, but hey, maybe they kept things interesting back in the day. I mean, who needs reality TV when you've got rogue elephants roaming the streets, right? Seriously though, imagine the logistics of enforcing this law. You'd need a police officer with a really big ticket book, right? Sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to move your elephant. You're parked in a loading zone. And what do you use for a parking boot on an elephant? A giant tire iron? This whole thing makes me wonder, were there just elephants casually roaming around back in the day? Was this like the Wild West, but with more peanuts and less gunslinging? Maybe it's for the best. I mean, can you imagine the mess? And don't even get me started on the cleanup. You'd need a whole team just to handle the, well, you know. Okay, this next one is music to my ears, or maybe not so much. Did you know that in New Jersey, singing off-key can get you in trouble with the law? Forget about American Idol. This is American Idol, where bad singing can land you in the slammer. Imagine a world where a police officer could pull you over for a bad rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody. License and registration, please, and sir, could you just hum the next few bars? You're a little pitchy. This poor fella, he looks like he got busted for a botched opera solo. Can you imagine telling that story to your cellmate? Yeah, I'm in for grand larceny, what about you? Oh, I murdered My Heart Will Go On at karaoke night. I bet even William Hung is grateful he never got pulled over by the tone-deaf police. It's enough to make anyone think twice about belting out a tune in the shower, am I right? I'm not sure what's funnier, the thought of someone getting arrested for their terrible singing, or the image of a police officer with a tuning fork chasing down off-key crooners. Hold it right there. Your rendition of Happy Birthday is disturbing the peace. Talk about a buzzkill, right? Imagine a world where only the perfectly pitched are allowed to sing. It'd be like a scene out of Footloose, but instead of dancing, it's singing that's outlawed. And just imagine the court cases. Your Honor, the defendant's rendition of Baby Shark was so egregiously off-key, it caused emotional distress to everyone within a 5-block radius. The absurdity, people, the absurdity. Alright, this next law is for all you party animals out there. In some places, dancing in the dark is actually illegal. That's right, you can't just throw on your dancing shoes and boogie down once the sun sets. Where's the fun in that? I guess they never heard of disco balls, right? I mean, what's the point of dancing if you can't get your groove on under the cover of darkness? It's like they want to take all the mystery and romance out of cutting a rug. This picture just screams forbidden dance party. Look at them go, risking it all for a little bit of fun. They probably had to use a secret password to get in. The Charleston is my jam. Maybe they thought darkness led to, other activities. Holding hands, sharing a milkshake with 2 straws. The scandal. This law begs the question, how dark are we talking? Like, if you light a few candles, does that still count? What about a disco ball? Is that pushing it? And what about glow sticks? Can you imagine a rave where everyone's waving glow sticks around just to avoid getting arrested? This is what happens when you make dancing in the dark illegal. You're telling me this isn't the most romantic image you've ever seen? It's all fun and games until someone trips over a lamp cord. Then it's just a lawsuit waiting to happen. But hey, at least they're following the letter of the law, right? Alright folks, picture this. You're at the public pool, right? Sun's out, the smell of chlorine is in the air, kids are doing cannonballs. The usual. But then, out of nowhere, some Yahoo pedals passed on a bicycle. In the pool. What in the world is going on? Turns out there are places where riding a bike in a swimming pool is actually against the law. Can you believe it? I mean, who even thinks of trying that? It's like they took Hold My Beer to a whole new level. And the lifeguards, oh man, can you imagine? Sir, you're gonna need a life vest and a helmet for this one. But seriously, you gotta wonder what kind of mayhem went down to require a law like this. Was it a whole gang of bicycle bandits terrorizing the local YMCA? Did someone try to invent synchronized swimming with unicycles? The world may never know. One thing's for sure though, this is one law that's just begging for a hidden camera prank show. I can see it now. Pool patrol. Bicycle beatdown. We'll get Shaq involved, dress him up as a lifeguard. Every time someone tries to ride their bike into the pool, BAM! Shaq jumps in, whistle blowing, ready to lay down the law. It'll be hilarious. Riding a bicycle in a swimming pool sounds like a recipe for disaster. Have you ever tried riding a bike on a wet surface? It's like ice skating with square wheels. Add chlorine and you're asking for a trip to the emergency room. Imagine the pool guy's face when he has to fish out a rusty Schwinn. Yeah, it's gonna be an extra charge for that. They'd probably have to shut down the whole pool. Maybe this law exists for a reason. Some things are better left on dry land. Alright folks, we've all been there, right? It's a hot summer day, you're craving something sweet, you go to grab your favorite ice cream cone and bam! It's gone. Someone swiped it. You're angry, you're upset, you're ready to throw the empty cone at their head? Believe it or not, in New York, that could land you in serious hot water. There are laws against using ice cream as a weapon, it's true. It's like something out of a cartoon, but it's real. Imagine that court case. Your Honor, the defendant assaulted the victim with a double scoop of Rocky Road. It sounds ridiculous, but stranger things have happened. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and start chucking ice cream cones at people. That's just wrong. Plus, you're wasting perfectly good ice cream. And nobody wants to be known as that guy who weaponizes dessert. That's a one-way ticket to being the least popular person at the picnic. But it does make you wonder, what other weird food-related laws are out there? Is it illegal to throw a bagel in Vermont? Can you get arrested for launching a grapefruit in Florida? These are the important questions, people. And what about the enforcement? Do they have a special ice cream task force? Are there undercover cops disguised as ice cream vendors waiting to bust you for launching a fudge cycle? The possibilities are endless and frankly, a little terrifying, so the next time you're enjoying a delicious frozen treat, remember this, savor it, enjoy it, but whatever you do, don't weaponize it. Unless you want to see your mugshot on the front page of the Dairy Digest, and trust me, nobody wants that. Okay, next up on our list of head-scratching laws, we have a real humdinger. Apparently in some places you can't have pet rats. Rats? You know, those adorable little guys with the twitchy noses and the love for tiny pieces of cheese? I mean, come on folks, what's the big deal? Are they worried about a rat uprising? Do they think these rats are gonna start wearing tiny leather jackets and riding motorcycles down the street? I don't get it. Maybe they just had a bad experience with a Pixar movie. Remember Ratatouille? Maybe they're worried about rats taking over the culinary world. Listen, I'm all for food safety, but banning all rats because of a few talented chefs seems a little extreme, don't you think? Look, I get it, rats aren't for everyone. Some people think they're creepy, some people are allergic, but a law against them? That's just nuts. And speaking of nuts, that's probably all these poor outlawed rats are eating now. Sad. Now, I'm not saying everyone should run out and get a pet rat. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. Guillermo, on the other hand, might have a different opinion. He's always had a soft spot for the little guys. But seriously, if you're gonna ban one rodent, shouldn't you ban them all? What about hamsters? They're basically just fluffier rats with worse PR. And don't even get me started on gerbils. Those little escape artists give me anxiety just thinking about them. And then there's guinea pigs. They just scream all the time. Like, what are they so worried about? It's not like they're the ones who can't own a rat. The point is, folks, laws are supposed to make sense. They're supposed to protect us from harm and keep things fair. Banning pet rats does none of those things. It just makes you look like you're afraid of a little harmless fun. And maybe some cheese. Alright folks, buckle up, because this next one is a real doozy. We're talking about a law so ridiculous, so outlandish, so utterly absurd that you'd swear I made it up. But I swear to you, on my Aunt Chippy's grave, this is a real law. Somewhere out there, in the vast and wacky legal landscape of our world, there exists a law that prohibits would-be suspects from sneezing. Yes, you heard me right, sneezing. The involuntary expulsion of air from the nose and mouth that happens when you get dust up your nose, or pepper, or pollen, or... well, you get the picture. So, imagine this. You're walking down the street minding your own business when suddenly you feel that familiar tickle in your nose. You know what's coming, but you can't stop it. You try to hold it in, you really do, but it's no use. You sneeze, a mighty sneeze that echoes through the streets. And then, out of nowhere, the long arm of the law swoops in. Apparently your sneeze was so suspicious, so incredibly incriminating that you've just landed yourself in hot water. Why? Because according to this ludicrous law, you, my friend, are a would-be suspect. Now, I'm no lawyer, but this raises so many questions. First of all, what constitutes a would-be suspect? Is it someone who looks vaguely shifty? Someone who's wearing a striped shirt and carrying a bag marked swag? And how do you even enforce a law like this? Are there undercover officers lurking in bushes waiting to pounce on unsuspecting sneezers? Aha, gotcha, you sneezed. That's clear evidence of your would-be suspect status. You're coming with me. It's just bananas, people. It's like saying you can't get hiccups in a library or you can't yawn in a courtroom. These are involuntary bodily functions. They happen. We can't control them. Honestly, the more I think about this law, the more I start to think it's a conspiracy, like maybe big tissue is behind it. Think about it. Ban sneezing, and suddenly everyone needs to carry around a whole pack of tissues just in case. Boom! Profits soar. Well folks, there you have it. Another 10 mind-blowing laws that sound like they were written by a bunch of monkeys with typewriters and a serious case of the munchies. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe I'm just jealous because I didn't think of them first. If you enjoyed this wild ride through the wacky world of weird laws, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more hilarious content. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single side-splitting, head-scratching, law-breaking moment. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and for crying out loud, try not to sneeze in public.